Shalom. Kol Hulo Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Raha HaKadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. My name is Barad Debar, coming to you from the GMS campus, Indianapolis. And to all those listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. Especially to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Today, just a cautionary tale, part 6. And as you can see, it says, husband speaks out after wife accused of drugging, robbing older men. And of course, as you can see, she's more than likely adulterous, a woman. Because again, you have a husband at home, and yet you are entertaining other men on these websites, and more often than not, when you put yourself in those certain risks, or you increase the risk of having to do things for these men that you have actually drugged, robbed, and taken complete advantage of. Now, what has found, I'm going to play this clip, and of course, this is from Good Morning America. It's just informational purposes. Pull out a few scriptures, couple scriptures, very short. But the main thing is just cautionary on how we should move and be moving when we go out and about, whether we are on the internet, the bars, the clubs, when you're meeting different people. We must be careful and be circumspect, watching constantly, because these days are evil. Let's hit play, and we'll get some scriptures.
Scam on steroids. We're hearing from the husband of the woman accused of drugging and robbing men that she met on dating apps, as prosecutors look into possible murder charges. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman joined us with more. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Michael. The FBI says Aurora Phelps orchestrated the most sinister romance scam they've ever seen. Now they're telling us they're investigating whether the deaths of her victims was a byproduct of all the drugs she allegedly dosed them with, or whether she intended to murder them all along. This morning, the FBI is investigating whether Aurora Phelps, the suspect behind what authorities are calling a romance scam on steroids, wasn't just after her victims' money, but their lives too.
Does the FBI believe that she intended to kill them by drugging them, or that was just part of how she was able to get the money out of them?
If you have one or two victims, maybe there's, an accident. In the 20 plus years I've been in the FBI, you start to rack up number of victims and the number of bodies. You certainly start to suspect and want to look into, is there more nefarious intent?
Authorities say Phelps would lure older men in their 60s and 70s on dating apps, drug them, steal the...
And that, as you can see, for depending on the person, she would be for a 60s something, 70-year-old man on an app. To see a woman, she would be considered young and attractive, And of course, all she has to do is just turn on the charm, and play the role that's needed. Looking at these men who may have had wives of their own, or may have been divorced, seeing them in vulnerable positions, because they are also on a dating app, maybe looking for love or some type of companionship. And of course, you have people who are who will prey upon that. There's a scripture I want to bring out really quick. This is what something Yahushai stated. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 16. Now, he's talking to, the apostles at the time. But now in these days, you misunderstand as we are understanding the spirit, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, that a lot of these things that happened before time, that which is then is now, they can also apply for today. He says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. So, sheep and wolves come in pack, and they find all different ways to, that they will devour a sheep. They'll surround them, and of course, sheep are very defenseless. They have no defense against any predator or and so they get preyed upon very easily and devoured. He says, be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So of course, we add also being, circumspect as far as understanding the situations. As we can see that she was doing a lot of the drugging. So we're out there in the midst with these women. We being more careful now as far as, where you get your drink from. There was actually a young guy, who was a rapper. I don't know really. I just seen the video clip. I didn't know who he was, but he was sitting amongst a group of people. They were having an interview. They were just talking, and he was, it's just a sign of him just being what they call on your P's and Q's. He said, "Hey, give me a water." He got a water. The question was being asked. He was talking. He was going to take the top off, and he was like, "Oh no, this been open," And he was like, "Give me another one." And they was like, "Oh no, like it's cool." He's like, "Nah, I'm all right." He gave the bottle back, and they gave him a new bottle. He clicked. He went to open it, and it clicked. You felt the tab click, and so you also know, just to throw this out there, when you go out into grocery stores, a lot of times on the bottles, they'll say things like, if it's already been open or if it's been tampered with, put it back or not put it back, but, don't buy it pretty much. So now you get yourself amongst people who are closest to you, or they get close to you and they get you at your most vulnerable spot. You may be sitting down having wine and she puts something in your drink, or let me go to the restroom, and she put something in your drink. So there's all manners of ways that she was doing and could have done. So again, this is just cautionary in how we deal now more with people.
Their identities, then their money, buying gold coins, plane tickets, hotel rooms, motorcycles. She would even kidnap them, says the FBI.
We believe Aurora Phelps deliberately drugged someone in the United States, put him on a plane with her, flew to Southern California, and then put him in a wheelchair and pushed him physically across the U.S.-Mexico border, then got on another plane, went to Mexico City, checked him into a hotel room, and we know that that victim was later found dead a few hours later.
She's been indicted on 21 counts, including kidnapping leading to death. The FBI says her alleged crime spree dates back to at least 2019.
Certainly actual losses, likely in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and intended losses, millions of dollars.
That as her husband, William Phelps, telling the LA Times that his wife was on the phone a lot, and he now wonders what she was doing. We've known each other for 14 years, he said, and she's never shown a sign or an ounce of this. If she did do it, damn, she put one over on me. The FBI is asking any additional victims to come forward, but tells me victims may be too ashamed about what happened or were too drugged to remember much at all. They fear other victims might not be alive. Now, Phelps could face life in prison if convicted on all counts, but we're told she might fight extradition from Mexico, a process that could take months, Robin.
So, and of course, a lot of them, in another video, they said it might have even been women as well. But in this particular case, a lot of men, if they were looked at as upstanding in the community or held certain type of prominent positions, whether it been as pastors of a community, CEOs of companies, they have wives and children, they volunteer, the whole thing. They volunteer and they've been all out throughout the community. And then they actually have, are in the background dealing with her. And they got taken advantage of. Of course, that's one play of like, okay, it wouldn't be good to go out because you have more to lose now that your family and wives and people in the community have seen you. So that's kind of what I get when he says, they may be too ashamed to come forward. It's a little more than just if I was a single man and you've taken advantage of me. And then, of course, you'd be more apt to come forward and say, hey, I was one. But if you have all these other things going on, then, that could make it much difficult because you're trying to hide your secrets. But in any case, that's just a thought that come to mind. This is the book of Ecclesiastes or Sirach. I always say Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25, verse 21. It says, "Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure." Now, of course, you're going to see beautiful woman, and you're going to want to have pleasure. But a lot of times, we have to be careful and have our spiritual mind into not being quick to allowing the beauty of a woman and the desires, of her physical physique, and wanting to have her a certain way, cloud your judgment. Okay, when it comes to how you should, the scriptures tell you, before you get a friend, prove them first. So anybody that comes into your area, your surroundings, you have to prove them to make sure that they are who they are. And sometimes, just like I believe the scriptures go into, just like wine, it ages in time. That should also be how your friend, is over a process of time. You then get to understand that person and know that person. But in the world, everything is so, Esau Edom has made it to where everything is so, I want it now, so fast food. So then you see a woman and you see a man and you jump right into the bed. And just because of, people are wanting that companionship or just to fulfill their lust. Okay. And you got something she wants, and she has something that the man wants. And so, again, everybody is moving super quick, and a lot of mistakes happen and fall in judgments. All right. And then you add alcohol and drugs in the mix, and then decisions are made. Well, let's say wrong decisions are made. Say it that way. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7. Actually, I'm gonna get this one last. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 13 through 18. Now, this is actually going into false doctrines. Okay, because at the beginning it talks about wisdom, and then how wisdom is likened unto a woman. But then you have false doctrines that come along that are likened unto women as well. But we sometimes will grab, the scripture and show you, use this as how women would be when it comes to like in the world. So just wanted to clarify that. But this is Proverbs chapter 9, verse 13 through 18. It says, "A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing." It says, "For she sitteth at the door of her house on a seat in the high places of the city, to call passengers who go right on their ways." So, of course, you have the internet, right, was where she was going, and people that she was mixing and mingling with all different types of people until she, I'm just kind of saying, until she found, the perfect suspect or perfect victim. Let's say it that way. And it says she was doing it since 2019. It says, "Who is simple? Let him turn in hither." Right, let him turn to her. Right. As for him, he wanted understanding. She says to him, "Stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant." So, of course, let me read the next verse. "But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell." So she's pretty much setting you up to be either killed or taken completely advantage of. All right. There's one. There's like an ox going into slaughter. The scriptures make a mention. And so this is the last book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 25 through 29. He says, this was Solomon. He says, "I applied my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom." So there we go into wisdom. So we have to be wise. Okay. Wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Okay. He says, and reason of things to know the wickedness of folly, which, I mean, even of foolishness and madness. So that all that was foolishness and madness. Okay. Luring these men in and telling them things that they wanted to hear just to take advantage. So pretty much she would more than likely be anything to the men. You know, if she was looking for, he was looking for a side piece, she probably would be that. If he was like, oh, you're looking for, your wife just passed away. Okay, I can be a comfort. Whatever the thing is needed, for the men. These are what, again, when you talk about scams, all right, you find those ways to take advantage. So you look at the things that are vulnerable and you try to fill that void. He says, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets. They're traps. Okay, their mind is finding ways to trap you. He says, and her hands are as bands. Whoso pleaseth the Most High shall escape from her. So again, there's a balance. If you stick to the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he'll find a way for you to escape. Like I said, there are many afflictions unto the righteous, but the Lord delivered them from them all. He says, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So that's plain and simple. Behold, this I found, said the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account. And we know Solomon had many, many wives. Okay. And so from all the wives and all the women that he's dealt with, he has the experience and the wisdom. It says, behold, I found, I read 27 again. Behold, this I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. So he's saying out of one man out of 1,000, right? He's talking about those with wisdom. So we see that is few. And he says a woman, out of 1,000 have I not found. Okay. So again, for women that come across this and have this understanding, is now you have to work to be, if you have a husband, to submit to your husband, especially if he's one that is in this truth. Okay. Because again, it's tough for the man, and it's just as tough, if probably not more, for the woman, because the woman is more emotional when it comes down to a lot of things, as it tells you in the beginning. And I say that tougher loosely, but when sin came into the world, it came in through the woman. Okay. They were first influenced. When you look in Adam and Eve, she was influenced by the serpent, which was a man. And she took back those things that she learned, and she pretty much poisoned her household. Okay. And she took it back to Adam. And so, and as a result, these things are playing its part all throughout the earth to this very day. He says, lo, this only have I found, that the Most High have made men upright. So he made the Israelite man to be upright in the earth. It says, but they have sought out many inventions. And there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the way thereof are his death. And then we also say that the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. But the wicked, Esau Edom, seduceth them. So many people get seduced by the evil ways of Esau Edom, so-called white man. Also, as you can see, they're women, and many other women, 2/3. So it's just a ball of confusion that we're living in this place called Babylon. So I hope that this lesson was edifying, uplifting, exhorting of some sort into the body of true believers. Before I end, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. Until next time, all those listening and learning to you, I say shalom.